Welcome to Hunting Cast, guys. Episode 3. Today we're in a little bit different scenery. We thought we'd sit outside, give a little bit of a campfire vibe, talk about some of our stories, give a rut report. We got a few questions toward the end of the video we'd like to answer and talk about. My name's Colton Gibson, that's Drew Carter, Troy Mercer, and we got a new face on the video today. Blue Carter, he killed a. If you scroll down at the bottom there, you'll see a video that we posted earlier this week. There's a little teaser of the deer that he killed. I'm sure he'll put the link in the description. A little bit of rut report. Drew, go ahead.
Neighbor's been doing real good. Oh, I've had some pretty good hunts. Neighbors did kill two of the deer that I was after, and I don't even know if I got another one at the moment, but we're still pushing through. See if we can't get on another one. I had another good deer on camera, but I ain't seen him in a couple weeks, so hoping he's still in the area. But I've been seeing quite a bit. I think that buck that I ran out of my corn pile the other day that got killed, I think he was on lockdown.
Why don't you just go ahead and talk about that for a minute?
Yeah, well, see, I think it was Sunday evening. The big wide 9-point, I've been after him all year long. I mean, I started seeing him like late July out in the bean field and stuff. And
he's the one in our
it's the deer in the intro video.
The big wide one.
Big wide 9-point. He wasn't real tall, but just a cool deer. And I've got a lot of history with him. I started getting him on trail camera in 2020. So I had him in 2020, had him last year, and started watching him this year. And I've seen him twice from the stand during bow season. He was out of bow range. And then Sunday evening, actually the guy that killed him, Garrett, my neighbor and buddy, he called me at like 12:30, and he said, "I just saw that deer on the other end of the farm you hunt. He was on the property line pushing a doe." And I was just chilling at the house. I was going to wait till about 2. And I was like, dang, because I hadn't had a picture of him in a week or so. So anyway, that gave me a little motivation, but I really thought he would go towards the other properties for some reason. I was like, there's no way that deer's just going to go straight to my corn pile like he did. But anyways, so I go in at like 2 p.m. Sunday, and I'm not walking very slow to my tree. I'm going pretty fast because I was wanting to get set up. And I got like 30 yards from my corn pile, probably 30 or 40 yards. And there's like a row of bushes between where I walk in and where my corn is. And I didn't know that there was 2 deer standing right behind that. So I get like 20 yards from my tree, and I hear something, look up, and I see a doe and that big 9-point run out of my corn. And just watch him run through the woods, big old rack. And I was like, man, I was sick. I was sick in my stomach. So I climbed up there, and I was like, man, I never would have thought that deer would have been in there, but it's rut, you never know. He was with that doe. And I had him on another trail camera at 12 p.m. Of course, these cameras, they would sell cameras, but they're not instant. I had them set to send at 8 p.m. So anyways, I was sick after that, and he ran right towards where more of the neighbors were hunting. So I was kind of hoping he didn't go over there and get shot. And about, I don't know, 4:30 probably, I heard a shot. I texted Garrett. I said, "You get one?" And he said, "Deer down." I was like, well, probably not that deer. Surely not. Sure enough, it was. So the big 9 got killed. I scored him at 147, which ain't too bad. He was just short timed.
Super wide.
Coyotes are getting after him. But anyways, he was real wide. Had a 21 3/4 inch inside spread. So you don't see deer like that wide around here much.
Yeah.
Cool buck though. I'm glad Garrett got him. And then fast forward a few days. Tuesday evening, I've been trying to hunt morning and evening most I could, and Tuesday it was nasty weather. I was like, I probably just need to work. We had something we needed to get done before we left, so I was like, we'll just hunt in the morning. And at 3:37, the big 8 passes my trail camera headed towards the neighbor's farm. I was like, maybe he ain't hunting. Well, sure enough, he was. He was hunting. He killed him. Another big 9-point. I mean, probably, I don't know. I'd say he was around 140. Or did I say 9-point? He was an 8-point. but real wide 8-point, good mature deer. So that kind of sucks. And right now, I don't know if I got another good deer to hunt or not, but it's rut. You never know what can happen, so.
You never know.
Better keep on hunting. What about you, Troy?
It's a different ball game than 2 weeks ago, definitely for sure. Seen a lot more chasing during the day, a lot of new bucks showing up. Not really hunting as much as I should, but part of it. But hopefully this weekend, really cold temperatures. Hopefully they'll be up on their feet a lot more.
It's gonna be cold for sure. Go ahead.
Me? Shoot, I ain't been since Saturday night. Can't think why.
Talk about that deer.
Oh wait, that's why I ain't been. But no, I killed a pretty good one Saturday night. A nice 4-year-old buck that we call Lucky. He's been a 7-point.
At least 4 years old. He might be 5. I don't know.
He don't look too old. He looks like he's about 4, but
At least 4.
I know in 2020 he was he might have been a 3-year-old in 2020.
It's hard to tell at
He
that
was
age.
pretty good size.
but we've had him on camera since 2019.
2020.
2020? Oh, I thought it was 19. Won't you tell a story? But we've had him on camera for a while, and he's always been just a decently wide 7. Never really had a lot of mass. This year, I mean, he's definitely, of course, the older they get, more mass they're going to have. But this year is definitely his biggest year. And he was old enough. He's a mature deer, so he was on the hit list along with that big 6 we've been watching. And I don't know, I went hunting Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday I went out the last hour and just kind of sit down there where I could see the field pretty good. And then hunted Friday and Saturday nights when I killed them. And between a pretty good 8 I've been seeing about every evening, and that big 7 I've caught glimpses of back and forth. There was 5 or 6 nights there I seen those bucks every night in that field. And I swear I think it's because I just wasn't hunting it through August and October. I think that's why.
You mean September?
Yeah, my bad.
August.
Better not have been hunting in August. But I mean, he kind of came through about 100 yards up the field and done a U-turn a little bit, and I could see he pushed 2 little spikes or 4 points across the river to me, or across the creek, and they were in my corn, and he just didn't like it a bit. He messed with a scrape for 2 or 3 minutes, and then he kind of walked up and could see those deer, and he just wanted to fight. He wanted to push those things around. There wasn't a doe in sight when I shot that thing either. He was there just to push those little bucks around, and he came through and he crossed the creek. Yeah, he was a bully. He crossed the creek, and I was like, I was recording the whole time. And he crossed the creek and came up through there, and I was like, if he gives me a perfect shot, I was like, I'm gonna have to take it on this deer. Sure enough, I mean, he just walked right up about 20 yards, took a right turn, broadside of probably 25, 26 yards, something like that.
30-06 put him down.
Oh yeah, dude, 30-06. I mean, I think I clipped his shoulder up here. Didn't exit either. I don't know what it hit, but it bruised. I mean, when I skinned him, I could see the bruising on this shoulder. I mean, it put him down pretty fast. The video, it's funny. I forget what I said after I killed him. Like, I think he's dead.
He ain't going nowhere.
He ain't going nowhere.
No, that was when I put the camera on me. Before that, I shot him, and then I sighed, and I said, I was like, I think he's dead.
Rolling around the leaves.
Yeah, dude, I dropped him with a 30-06 at 25. I was like, pretty sure he's gonna die. I think he might be dead. What about you, Colton?
This week, I definitely haven't been able to hunt just because of work, but I do know, according to pictures, there's definitely a lot more chasing going on compared to last week, which this week we've got to
cameras?
do what?
Had anything on any of your cameras? Lately?
I got one new deer on camera that I've never seen before, between not even last year, doesn't look familiar, nothing. He's a big 10-point, really tall tines, G2s, G3s. I'd say he's probably around a 4.5-year-old, maybe 5-year-old age. Definitely a big body deer.
Looks like a big old tall deer.
So gives me something to look forward to, because I mean,
that's the picture you sent a couple days ago.
Yeah, which that was midday. It was like 10:30, I think. It might have been 10:30 or 11:30. I can't really remember. So there's definitely a lot of action going on. So if you're not sitting in the stand, you're definitely missing out, especially this time of year.
Not especially the weather we've been having.
This week,
it's perfect.
This week and this weekend's like prime hunting weekend for rutting
this
conditions.
weekend, I mean, I feel like.
I want to ask you about that, Drew.
Ask me about what?
What was going through your mind a prime weekend to get in the stand at 2:30 in the afternoon.
Huh?
What?
That's not that late.
I get that.
It really does have a lot to do with having a kid, though, because I've been hunting so much. I'm gone 90% of the days, and like the week before gun season, I came in from work right to the stand before gun season.
I ain't hating on you, but I was just curious as to why.
That is a big reason. And yeah, freaking Garrett called me. I could have packed my crap and got in my stand and probably had a 30-minute hunt and killed that deer.
Oh yeah.
But I don't know. It's like I've never killed a deer. I've never killed a deer before. The earliest I've ever killed one in the evening was 350, and that was in a deep holler. And where I'm hunting is literally 60 yards from a pretty good traveled road, and that's where that deer was.
That's the crazy
So
thing about this year, though, because
you never know.
or this time of year, though, because you go from like expecting to not see a deer till 1 hour before dark and 1 hour after daylight. He's liable to be out there at 11 o'clock.
Yeah. I mean, he was on my other camera.
And that's
I think he was with a hot doe, but he was on a camera about probably 600 yards from where I bumped him at 11:59, and he stayed there for about 5 minutes, so through like 12:04 or something like that. And then he went across the road from there, and that's when my buddy seen him and called me. But yeah, I should have just packed my crap up and went over there.
I mean, with all 6 of my hunts this year, with all 6 of them, it was just nonstop action. I mean, actually, I take that back. The last hunt, I didn't see a deer till 45 minutes before I shot that one, and then when I shot him, it was 4:40, so it was kind of getting a little bit later. But and I had forgot my grunt call too. I was like, of course, there's that buck. I could tell he was wanting to fight. I mean, he was just acting aggressive. I was like, of course, I forget my grunt call, and he's
being perfect
45 yards on someone else's property, and I can't even try to get him in.
Yeah.
Yep. Right in the corner. Somebody owns this, somebody else owns that. I'm right there.
Love those guys.
Hey, it's the best. Hey, it's the best spot.
I mean, speaking of property hunters, Saturday afternoon, opener of gun season. 2 of the bucks that I've had on camera all summer long. One of which is a really good 9-point. I think he's a 4.5-year-old, maybe a 3.5-year-old. He's got a smaller body, but beautiful, beautiful genes, great big 9-point. And I got in the stand about 1:30 Saturday afternoon. And about 30 minutes in, I hit my grunt and look in the CRP field, and he's standing out there with the 10-point that I've had on camera all summer long. And they come in about 50, 60 yards, and I really thought about shooting him, but ended up letting him go because I'm like, this deer would be amazing next year.
Yeah.
And I didn't have any thoughts about the 7-point or the 10-point because he's a 3.5-year-old for sure, and he definitely needs a year or 2 on him.
Kind of short time.
Yeah, he's a real short time buck.
He'll be a big one though next year.
And ended up letting him walk. And I texted pictures to my uncle, my cousin. I'm like, hey, look at these deer I let walk. I was like, these would be great deer for next year. Just trying to.
I'm looking forward to seeing that 10.
Yeah. And
Good one.
about
He might
20
make
30
one
minutes later, 20 or 30 minutes later, I hear a gunshot ring out right down the holler from us. So I text our neighbors, hey, they've got to stand right on the property line. And I asked if they had shot, and they said, yeah. I said, instantly it was like, first thought was that big 9. I was like, who wouldn't? I mean, I think I'm the only idiot around this that was going to let that deer walk. Because he's about a 130s class deer. But I mean, for me, I'm trying to reach that maturity of, getting a deer that's in a mature age. And sure enough, luckily, it was the 10-point, but sadly, it was the 10-point because I feel like that deer definitely needed another year or 2 on
Yeah,
it.
next year would have been much better.
But it was a little bit of a sigh of relief that he didn't kill the 9-point. So,
Hey, gun season's not over yet.
yeah, it definitely
You go
isn't
up-
over yet.
You go up to him and say, I'm glad you killed the little one.
No,
But-
that sucks.
They
when,
probably split up or something before they walk down
Who
there.
knows?
It sucks when a neighbor kills a deer, but you can't claim a deer, but
Definitely not.
if
That's what-
if they have a nice deer on camera, I'll you know, all bow season,
Yeah.
you're gonna shoot him as soon as he walks.
Definitely.
That's what I was telling one of my buddies. I was telling him about. He's about goofy. I was telling him the other day about how my neighbors have killed both my deer, and he's like, I said they killed a good one last year too. He's like, I know what you need to do. He's like, you need to go. He's like, get some Tide laundry detergent, pour on their corn piles. I said, I ain't doing that.
Mothballs.
I said, first off, I wouldn't do that in the first place. I said, I guarantee I've shot their deer in the past.
Oh yeah. I mean, it goes the same thing for us.
It just sucks.
You hate it when it happens, but you like it when it happens for you.
Yeah.
When Drew leaves, he opens the door and a bunch of Tide falls out.
You can't not get upset though.
Oh yeah.
Especially when you
A little bit.
Especially when you put effort into a deer.
I mean, shoot, I get upset when my own family kills deer that are small.
I feel for
Of course, then you're like, if it's not their first deer, you're just like,
I ain't even
Of course,
gonna touch.
then you-
I ain't even gonna touch on that.
then you can
topic.
tell them how it is. Walk up to it trying to be nice. Well, look at the feet on that deer. Boy, he's got a set of ears on him, don't he?
Oh goodness.
Y'all want to jump into these questions? That way we can spend a little time on them and
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. I think my boots are melting.
see if I can get my phone in my pocket. Here, got too many
Oh,
clothes on.
mine ain't.
Did it burn the sole of your boot?
They did.
Dang, it burned your soul.
Yeah.
All right, these are some questions we've had on our Instagram page. I had a few people reply.
Go follow us if you ain't already.
And,
Yeah, we're going to be doing this quite often, having the questions asked to us.
First question. Don't know who it came from, but when did y'all start hunting?
I was 6. I believe I was 6 anyway. I mean, I don't really remember, but in our treehouse we got like the dates and stuff. My first one I believe was like November like 12th, 09 or something like that.
Don't
Or
even
excuse me,
remember his first hunt.
07, something like that. I mean, I was pretty young, 6.
6. I was 7 whenever I started. I started on deer hunting. Papa took me, so
Oh well, you can still learn how to hunt then.
yeah.
Got some room.
Yeah, I you know, coming from a guy who's already shot a buck this year,
Oh,
you could,
yeah.
you could learn a few things or two.
I was 5. But yeah, I mean, I think Dad took me once or twice that year, and then, I mean, I was so young, he took me here and there and whatnot, but I think I killed my first deer when I was 9.
Yeah. I don't exactly remember when I first started hunting, but the other day I was looking on the harvest logs. We could see and I killed my first turkey
When
in
I was
05.
3.
Yeah.
I was 18 months.
No, it was 2005, so I would have been 5 when I killed my first animal.
What about bow hunting? When did y'all first start bow hunting?
That's pretty young there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was young there.
That's like all the dudes I see on Facebook taking their 3-year-old kids, tagging out on you.
Got them vortexes.
I seen that too.
I don't really remember
I
about when bow. I just remember I had a diamond razor edge.
think everybody started.
I think
on that
everybody,
bow.
a lot of people.
I didn't.
did.
I was too poor for that.
I had a Hoyt. I had a little Hoyt
little recurve.
Ultra Youth, I believe is what it was called.
I think I don't even really remember. I bought Josh Tilford's old bow from him. Mom and Dad got it for me for my birthday. It was a PSE Spider. And I started out on it, I think I was like 10 maybe. Just shooting it, wasn't hunting with it obviously. But I went from that to a Razor Edge, and I think I was probably about 13 or 14 whenever I first really got serious into bow hunting. And ever since then, it's just been kind of a effect.
I want to say this real fast. When I first started bow hunting, how old was I when I got that Hoyt? I was like 10 or 11 because
Probably 10.
I had seen you bow hunting.
10
And
or
I was like,
11.
I want to do that. I was like, you ain't got a bow. I had this like old green
You ain't got
Walmart
a bow,
bow, you know
you
the
ain't
ones that
got
look
a
like
bow.
recurves.
One you
I was
buy,
like, I got one.
plastic.
I can take this. And they was like, that won't kill a deer, but
Dude,
they got me that bow. And I went hunting. I swear, I was hunting about 8 yards from my corn pile in an 8-foot stand. And I was like, dude, I'm gonna kill one. It was so bad. Dude, I was like, it's crazy. I get pictures of deer all the time in this corn pile. Yet when I go hunting, they see me from 40 yards away. As soon as I see them, they're gone. I was like, I don't understand it. Of course, I had my iPod and everything, dude, and I was just bow sitting in my lap with an arrow in it. It was some awful
Yeah,
hunts,
you
but I
gotta
mean,
start somewhere.
yeah, everybody starts somewhere.
I
People got
honestly
some bad
don't
hunts
know
like that.
how young I was. I remember this black bear bow I had, and I had to be like 8 or 9. And I know for a fact I went hunting with my brother that thing a time or two, but there was no way I was going to shoot
No
at a deer
chance.
with it. I think I just thought I was.
That's like taking a BB gun or something.
Yeah.
And then I went from that
I swear
to
I've never
this
had a
little,
BB gun
this
too.
little PSE bow that my dad bought like my oldest brother, and it got passed down to every one of us. And it had like a 25-pound draw weight.
And
I
probably,
swear you could have caught the arrow.
hey, and I bet it had a sight, Drew, with 2 pins, and the pins did match.
Probably, and they were about this far gapped apart. You can only fit like 20 and 30 yards in it, maybe.
On my bow, dude, forever, I had an
I
old
swear
sight on
to
there
it.
that was like broken plastic, and it had, I believe, 4 pins on it, and 3 of them were different pins. Like, I mean, they was different lengths and everything. I just knew to hold a little bit.
Dad used to tell me, "Oh, that'll kill a deer," but I swear I think it would have bounced off on it. I swear I
Just
did.
telling you what you wanted to hear.
Yeah, but I know I started packing that thing like by myself. I'd just take off through the woods in the morning and evenings when I was probably 11 or 12. I know I missed several does. I don't know how many does I missed. I would shoot at them. I never will forget one I shot at when I think I was 11. She was like 10 yards. I was in our tree house, and I drew back on her, and I mean, talk about an unethical shot. She was facing away from me, and I remember putting like 3 or 4 pins on her back. Just all down her spine, and I shot, and of course I missed it. But I think my limb like hit the tree house or something. But I don't know how many I missed. But I ended up killing a decent buck. when I
In
was
my
13.
opinion, I think it's good to start shooting a deer like that when you're young, because that teaches you a lot. And plus, I
Maybe
didn't
not
get.
a 25-pound draw bow.
Well, I'm just saying, like,
Nowadays,
when
they
you're
got
young,
used bows that'll get it done.
when you're
Oh,
young,
yeah.
you can take bad shots, and you'll learn so much from it. I didn't shoot my first deer with a bow till last year. Luckily, it was 6 yards.
I definitely wouldn't recommend taking bad shots.
No.
No, for sure. But I mean, when you're 13, ain't no shot a bad shot. You're like, dude, there's a deer out there. He's facing away. I'll get him in the butt.
Texas hard shot.
Exactly. I'll get him in the butt. But like last year, I shot that deer at 6 yards, and I ain't gonna lie. I mean,
Texas hard shot.
as soon as my 20 yarders seen fur, it was gone. But luckily, it's hard to miss a spot this big at 6 yards.
Sounds like you need to be practicing shooting.
Yeah, and to be honest, that's why I didn't take my bow during gun season. I had not shot my bow enough to where I was comfortable with it. Even at 25, I mean, I would have probably been fine at 25, but, you know, I mean, even speed, man, I had one hand up here, messing with my camera, zooming it in, no gloves. I need one of those remotes. But I had one hand up here, dude, and he was walking in. I grabbed my gun, dude. My hands were so cold, I had to take my
I'm
safety
gonna
off of my
claim
arm.
bad camera arm placement first
Yeah.
off.
I don't.
The boy who stands up for
Hey.
some reason and knocks his camera out.
I mean, I probably look like a tree up there.
I don't know about that one.
Next question, Troy.
Next question. Don't know who this is from either. Caliber of choice for deer hunting.
Well, here,
Drew.
we'll go in this line. You answer next week.
I shoot rages.
If you had to shoot a gun,
No, I do shoot a gun. I've been taking both. I ain't gonna lie. But anyways, I mean, when I was 12 for Christmas, I got a 243, and that's what I've took every year since. Never had a deer make it out of sight. Ever.
What about you?
It's been a good round though, no kidding.
I'm gonna agree with him. 243 is hard to beat.
Hard to beat.
Well, I mean, it's your choice.
No,
Any
I'm saying
caliber.
that's why I agree with him 100%.
You gonna take a 223 or 243? My bad, 243.
I mean, if I'm gonna hunt a cornfield that's 600 yards in
Well,
length,
yeah.
I'm not gonna take it. But sitting in the woods, 243. If I'm out in the field, 308. But I mean,
You mean in
from
the woods?
What I say?
You sit out in the field. You mean?
If you're out in the field, you want to take a longer shot, you take your 308.
I said 308.
Oh, I misunderstood that too. My bad.
No, but I mean, I've killed deer with 223, and I've killed deer with a 300 Win Mag. I mean, they're all.
I know
killers.
a guy killed his first doe with a 22. I don't recommend that,
No, that's not
but
ethical.
yeah, pretty sure it's illegal too.
Somebody was telling me the other day,
I don't recommend it. I just said that
an
to
old
prove
guy
that it
we
can
was
happen.
working for, like back when they first opened up deer season, like around here, somebody he knew, like, killed all of his deer with 22 mags. Said he shot them right in the neck.
I could-
Of course, that was old.
I mean,
that was old
neck.
times.
Yeah.
He said he had like some kind of drill, like a tap set, that he could take somebody's single shot 22 and tap it out for a 22 mag. And
He'd probably
do
take a
that to-
hand drill.
He'd do that to people's guns so he could shoot deer with them.
In my opinion, I like a 308. just because, I mean, a bigger diameter, you can shoot a 180 grain bullet out of a 308. Now I hunt with a 30-06, but that's just because that's what my gun is, and I don't feel like buying another 308 just like the 30-06 I got, and I don't shoot that gun anytime but except in gun season.
I really don't think it's.
I'll tell you this: in 2016, I shot that deer, dude, and I shot him through a tree about that big around. Bullet went in, like 20. He was 25 yards.
It's all about those ethical shots.
Dude, I'm telling you, I make those good shots.
We're gonna start charging for target practice.
But
Bows and guns.
I shot that deer, and it went through that tree, and it was about up here, so I'm guessing he was probably within 8 feet of that tree, probably. But he was a couple feet away from that tree, and the 308 went right through it and still killed the deer. It didn't exit, but I believe I busted both of his lungs. Because, I mean, we didn't find a drop of blood the whole time, and what it was, that bullet entered so high because he was, like I said, 25 yards. The bullet entered up here, and it might have bounced around a little bit. I don't really think so, but I think it popped both of his lungs, and he just took off running and slowly filled up with blood. But I'll take a 308 all day. Probably my choice. For deer hunting, because you can shoot a 160 grain bullet at like 2,600 feet a second out in the field. You can kill up to 800 yards with that if you want. Or you can throw a 180. A 180, I think they even sell 190 grain.
Telling people to go shoot a deer 800 yards.
I wouldn't either, but I'm just saying.
I wouldn't recommend that at all, though.
But you take a 308.
You'd have to have a really good setup to be.
Nobody's
around
doing
here,
that with a 3-9-40.
like out west, I would say.
I'm just saying hypothetically.
Out west, that's probably
hypothetically.
Out west, that's probably like way more
Long
common
shot.
of a thing, taking longer shots. But around here, there's no. Unless you're shooting a
there
corn.
might be like 4 or 5 people in Grayson County that can even shoot that far.
Yeah, I mean with the correct setup, you definitely can. But like a regular gun with a regular 10-power scope, I definitely wouldn't recommend just lobbing a bullet out there.
I know. I'm just saying hypothetically. But the 308, I mean, like I said, I had a 180 grain bullet. It punched right through that tree and killed the deer still. But you know, the tree's my fault, but crap, as close as he was, and I grunted him in, he was on a string right to me. I grunted him in, and I was like shaking up. I never thought to look for a tree, I guess. But I shot it, killed him, 308, I'll take it.
And for a caliber that large, you can't beat the prices on ammo for it.
Yeah, that's another thing about it. A 308, man, you
They're
can
hard
get.
to find right now. Are they easy?
No, they're fairly easy.
They're fairly easy all the
There's a
time.
round, I can't remember what it is. Is it 30-06?
30-06.
30-06 is really hard to find.
Yeah, and that's
They're
what I
hard to
got.
find?
Luckily, I have
Oh.
enough though.
I don't know why,
6.5s
because I feel
are
like
everywhere, ain't they?
Yeah.
they became way more common. But like 30-06, I don't know why, but it's a very, I guess it's a common round for most people around here.
They're not.
Anyways.
And see, the projectile itself, I believe, is the same caliber as a 308. So a lot of companies, if they start running low on 308, they'll swap and they'll like lower the production on 30-06 and increase it on 308.
Yeah.
Especially for hunting season, but go ahead.
I'd say
Next question, Truly.
I've killed a lot of deer. I've killed a lot of deer. I mean, between 223, 7mm. I've killed one with 300 Ultra Mag, 6.5. They all kill, definitely. I mean, I'll agree with the 243 debate. I wouldn't just go out and choose a 243. We've all had this debate quite many times, as you can tell. I wouldn't choose a 223 just to go kill a deer. I wouldn't choose a 243 to go kill a deer. I want something that's definitely, I know without a shadow of a doubt, that if I can shoot it at 200 yards, it's going to have a good entry and exit hole. And that's what I look for. I've got a 6.5 now. I love it. I've killed one deer with it, dropped him.
He's a firm believer off that one.
I mean,
And I understand.
I hear a lot of people kill. I mean,
I
my
really don't think it matters.
uncle and cousin, they've both been shooting 6.5 for a while now. Haven't had a problem out of it. Shot many a deer, and it's basically just a smaller 308. And,
So is a 243.
I mean, yeah, if you want to go that way, but but I'm not going to sit here and debate the 243, 223 because we can save that for another day. But they definitely kill. I mean, there's no doubt about that.
I'll agree with this. If I was to just completely gut shoot one and maybe not hit anything good, I'd rather have like a 308.
That's what I'm saying. Here's the thing, though.
But if you double lung one or hit him in the heart or get an artery with any caliber, he's gonna die.
It's definitely gonna die. But at the same moment, I'm a big thing on. I'm never there's no such thing as you're always going to make a perfect
Exactly.
shot.
It's-
You're always, there's going to be that one time you're shaking up, whether he's at 150, 200 yards,
Or a tree's in the way.
or a tree's in the way.
Yep.
You'll
Ghost
want
gets
that.
knocked off
You want that
somehow
extra
or
grain.
another.
You want that extra speed.
See, and that's exactly where I come
And
from.
so, I mean,
If you have the choice, why not?
if you
know?
if you have the choice of picking a 243 or a 308 or a 65, I wouldn't pick up the 243.
I'm looking for a 50 cal, to be honest.
Yeah, dude.
I mean, if we're all going to sit here gun debate 300 ultra mag, it's just going to kill a deer no matter what.
What about 300 Win Mag?
I'm 300 Win Mag too. So
We know somebody that used to claim they shot at deer. Every year they'd shoot at a deer with 300 Win Mag. Finally, they said, you know what it is? That bullet's so powerful and so fast, it's zipping right through them.
I mean,
Hey,
It's zipping right through them, and they're walking off.
My dad shot one at 10 yards with a 300 Win Mag, and that thing passed through it so quick. There was no blood hardly.
See, and I think the other day, you say that, and I kind of agree, because I think the other day, if I'd have had an AK round, which is 7.62 by 39, going like 1,800 feet a second, a whole lot slower, I think it would have did more damage than that 30-06 to that deer. Just because it's going slower, and it would have had more time to expand, I think. That's just my 2 cents. Who knows? I could be completely wrong.
What's the next question, Troy?
Jeez.
We'll just skip that one.
He was on that one for a good minute.
And this was asked by Braxton Toms. I don't know if he's going to watch this or not, but what do you think about Sitka? Colton, I'll let you answer this.
Yeah, we'll
Colton's
start
the
with
new
you.
Sitka fan.
well, I don't have it on right now, but I have recently purchased Sitka this year.
A rip to your bank account.
Exactly. But I will say this. I wasn't a big believer in it. Troy bought it. He's had it, the past year, 2 years? You got it last year?
I got it not this turkey season, but last turkey season.
Okay.
So like March 2021.
Okay. So he wore it, and I was like, I didn't want to go out there and just go test my money on something that I don't know about. So I definitely let him try it out. He was a big believer in it. I went and bought it, and I've got to say, I've got Under Armour on right now, and without a shadow of a doubt, it blows Under Armour out of the water between warmth and wind. I think the biggest thing that you need to look for in a hunting set is wind protection. You do not realize how big wind protection comes into play until you wear something that actually blocks wind. And Sitka, by far, like, I was sitting in the stand Saturday morning when that first rain come through and frosted everything over. I was leaned over
That
against
stuff
a
water
tree.
resistant too?
Huh?
Is it water
Depends
resistant?
on which one you
Yeah.
get.
Yeah, the one that I've got is water resistant, and I'm sitting in a tree. It's a northwest wind. I have no protection in front of me. I literally have a open cornfield hit me straight in the face,
It came down for a while. too.
and I'm leaned up against a tree like this.
Did y'all get much snow?
We just got ice.
I got about
really?
an inch of snow at the house.
We got close.
And with that being said, I raised up after it quit, and I was just covered in ice, but no wind hitting me. The only thing that hit me was my face. So I think if you've got the money, I think it's probably the best set you can get for deer hunting, for sure, without a shadow of a doubt.
See, here's my opinion, and I don't own Sitka.
Never will.
I agree with Colton. If you have the money, go for it. It's going to be worth it. But I will say, this jacket right here,
That's not the.
it's
We can
it's
debate on this.
it's potato chip stuff. So exactly. I guarantee they're hearing this. You know, it's potato chip fabric. Sounds like you open a bag of potato chips. But I mean, it does pretty dang good. And I have sit in this when it's 20 out, and I have like a hoodie underneath, and then I got the bibs are the same thing, except the bibs, when you walk, it's real bad. It's real bad when you're walking with the bibs. But it was $150 for the set. Like, I think it was 80 plus 70. Yeah, that's actually 150, but carry the two. But it was 150 for the set, and I stayed pretty dang warm. The gloves are good. They're not the stupid Carhartt, or the pockets. They're not the stupid Carhartt pockets that are paper thin. They're not those. I mean, and this thing, I'll be honest, it's got I think it's got 12 pockets on it. That is handy. I don't even have to take a backpack.
You get a lot of snacks in there.
Yeah, I can fit a lot of food in here, dude. I could probably put chili in one of these if I wanted to. But I like these pretty solid. When I upgrade, whenever I buy new clothes, I might go for Sitka. But is it going to make the difference between you killing a 170-inch deer and not?
It may be.
It's gonna,
Unless you're super cold, it might.
You know how many
But-
times that I've came to the house because I was too cold though? Once or
I did
twice,
one
maybe.
time, but it
I
was
have
like
a couple-
9:30
I
in the
have a
morning.
couple
I was
of
like, I'll sit here long enough.
And that was probably because my feet are hands.
But
Too.
I mean, I think Colton nailed it when he said if you have the money, go for it. But by all means, you don't need it.
There's I definitely think there's really good sets out there. Like I had Under Armour. I've had this Under
Apparently,
Armour
First
set.
Light too is right there with Sitka. Everybody.
and like
People
is
swear
it
by it. Have
Badlands?
you heard of it?
What?
No
First
clue.
Light.
I've heard of them too.
Apparently, it's like.
And there's
right
a
there
new
with
one. It's like
Sitka.
Huey or
yeah.
Some people like it better
and,
than Sitka.
and that's
but-
just that's more expensive than
yeah,
Sitka.
it's just as yeah.
But their pattern, I don't like their patterns.
Yeah.
What about you, Troy?
What
Do
see?
you like Sitka?
No, we were talking about
Out.
the chip bag, and
You got Sitka socks on right now.
you know, it's the quiet.
Underwear.
It's quiet. It's good. It's got good warranty. It's expensive, but if I had to go back and do it again, I'd buy it.
If you can get the military discount, go for it.
it.
It's almost worth going to boot camp for 6 months.
Yeah, it saves a lot of money. Yeah.
No, it's nice. And he was talking about pockets. Every time I wear I have another jacket. Every time I wear like something, you know, I find a new pocket on it. It's weird.
Yeah, that's how
I'll just
this
be
jacket
sitting there,
was for a while.
I was like, where did that come from? But you talk about water resistance. I got a jacket that's fully waterproof. It's Gore-Tex. It's nice. It is loud, but anything waterproof is gonna be loud.
Is it Sitka?
Yeah, that's for
That's
like,
what I was going to ask you if they had like extremely quiet waterproof
I mean,
stuff.
my jacket that I have in there is not waterproof. So I mean,
I'm
obviously,
talking about waterproof. That'd be
You-
interesting if they did.
mine's water.
his
the
is
one I-
waterproof. His is a duck hunting.
No, this one's not waterproof.
No,
This
the,
is
the,
just
the other, the duck
Yeah.
oven.
It's waterproof, but it's loud, but it's not that loud, you know. Not.
So it's not as junky as mine. Is that what you're saying?
It's not that loud, but
I mean, I'll say this: sitting out there Saturday, whenever I got back to eat lunch and I stripped down and took all my stuff off, I didn't have a wet spot on me. And I mean, I sat in the rain in the sleet.
Well, see, I did have some wet on me. I was pretty wet.
Yeah.
Of course, I got out there about 45, 50 minutes before first light.
I mean, I didn't.
And that's when it was pouring rain.
And I
And I
also
sat through the rain,
Me
the
too.
sleet, and then it snowed on me for a while, and that snow was just slowly melting on me.
Yeah.
And when I got back, it was mostly around my hoodie where the water it probably kind of got in there, and my shoulders might have been a little damp. But yeah, my clothes definitely absorbed a little bit.
see if I spent more time hunting, I'll probably have some. But I mean, I really, like I said, I hunted 6 times this year, and I really think I would have been fine though if I hunted like December, January. I'd probably have some.
I think the biggest like seller for a lot of people for it is how quiet it is and how like thin. I wouldn't say it's thin, but it's way thinner than some of the jackets that I have. They keep me just as warm, but it's just
See,
way more lower profile. Great for bow hunting. I mean, that's
Mike.
what you look for in a bow hunting clothes is something that's thinner, but doesn't give away the thought of staying warm.
like if you're moving around a bunch, what would you rather have? This huge jacket, or that
If
you
I
know,
was bow
one
hunting,
half
I'd-
the size?
yeah, if I was definitely bow hunting, though.
I mean,
No.
even gun hunting, dude. When I bring that gun up, it's got a rubber butt pad. It'll grip this and like
Yeah.
pull it up and around.
My phone fell.
Then it'll grip this, pull it up and around, and have to move it out and like get it seated right. It's a bit big, but I mean, keeps me warm.
It has its pros and cons, but I mean anything does. Price
The
being the
only
biggest con.
cons are the price.
I will say this: there is a 25% sale going on. So
Sick if you're watching this.
if
a
you
promo
are
code.
looking to buy it, now's probably the time.
Yeah, and
because-
Promo code HuntingCast.
promo code HuntCast for 0% off.
No, but what really sold me on it was I was hunting. We were hunting ducks. I think it was like 3 o'clock in the morning.
You're hunting
Four
ducks
to-
at 3 a.m.
No, you guys get there early, man. Set up, but it's like 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 degrees outside, and the only thing that got cold was my feet. But of course, I don't. That Sitka doesn't make boots, but that was the only thing that got cold.
They
to
make
me, and
boots.
that-
Take
that-
my money.
That was that was the point that I really said like, no, this is some good stuff.
yeah,
Especially when you're hunting around water and stuff like that.
it's always cold.
Yeah, but you want to do the next question?
Is it warmer standing in the water sometimes?
Yeah.
I can.
That water,
okay.
if you're in 0 degrees and that water is not frozen solid, it's warmer than 30 degrees.
Yeah, I know, but you
know
gotta
what I mean?
think also being deeper down too.
Yeah, but if it's not frozen, it's above freezing.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's warmer, gonna be warmer.
Oh,
at the
yeah.
bottom, but-
Apparently,
I
at
was about to
certain
say.
depths, it's like 50 degrees year round or something.
Yeah, it stays that temperature. Yeah, that's why fish
But-
go deep in the winter.
Yeah, but like y'all asking about that. First time I ever went duck hunting. We were hunting flooded timber, and we were in chest deep water. I mean, just that far from the top of the waders. First step, my boot fills with water, and supposedly these waders were supposed to be brand new, whatever. Left side fills up with water, so I'm like, I'm just gonna stick it out. And as I was hunting there, my body temperature was warming that water up, I guess. I don't know, either that or I was warming up the first stage of hypothermia. but that side was warmer than my other side. I guess that water, it's like a wetsuit.
Do you
That's how
still have
wetsuits
all
are.
5 toes?
Yeah, not blue. Alright, let's get to the next question. We've been too long on Sitka. Favorite hunting memory or favorite hunt?
I don't know.
So go for it.
I don't know if I have any favorites. I mean, my first deer, that's when it all started. That's a good one. I had a hawk try to kill me one, or an owl try to kill me one time. I seen a fox and I was like, I can't do it. My lips are cold, but I was squeaking it. It runs. I'm like, daggone it. I look, dude. There's a hawk or an owl, just full speed at me, dude. And I duck. I go, whoa! And it lands right here and then looks down at me, and I was like, hey.
Well, that
It
you
was
not
pretty
told
bad.
me, would have picked him up and carried him off.
Yeah. Who knows, man? He might have took me to. I can't think of what it's called.
Next.
I'd
Couldn't think of what
say
it's called, dude.
I'd say like my biggest hunting memory is definitely my first deer. It was a doe. I started out, like I said, at 7 years old. Papa took me hunting, and I'd been begging to go hunting. And it was that free youth weekend. I think it's in December, isn't it?
Yeah, it's late season.
And
Like the
Papa
weekend after
took me.
Christmas.
I'm sitting in a Carhartt bibs, Carhartt jacket. And we're in this little wooden stand, and it's snowing. Papa's sitting in the corner of it, sleeping, per usual. And we had a corn pile out there about 30, 40 yards. And for my age, which I've definitely not had a growth spurt, but for my age, it
He's
was
still the same height.
yeah, I'm still the same height. For my age, shooting a gun was kind of difficult because I couldn't ever get the stock up to my shoulder and look down and pull the trigger. And we had some does come in. I wake Papa up. I said, they're here. He said, who's here?
The Germans.
And I said, the deer. And ended up, got the gun up there. And ended up having to take my Carhartt jacket off. They stood there the whole time to get the butt of the gun to my shoulder. Shot the doe, and we ended up letting her lay for the night because we couldn't find good blood. 223.
Thank
Perfect
goodness.
shot at that, but
If,
we
you
ended
hit
up.
if you hit that deer in the heart, it wouldn't have went.
Oh, it was perfect. I'll say that.
I'll say good.
Hey, thank
And,
goodness Colton's
I've
Papa
got a
wasn't a
picture.
Vietnam vet.
I've got a
back
picture.
liver.
If you hit the heart, there's no way.
I did. It was a perfect shot. Perfect shot.
Hey,
Cool.
when
I
I
swear it was.
that deer I killed, I shot it in the heart. Blew up its heart. It ran 60 yards.
Well, yeah, but he said he didn't find it though.
Oh.
No, we found it.
Oh.
Papa found it the next day. We didn't find much blood. is what I
Yeah,
said.
it was 3 miles away, but he
He was
did.
No,
shooting
it,
full
it
metal
ran. It
jacket.
ran straight down the hill. We
Uh,
found it in a creek, but he found it the next day and called me and without telling me that he had found it. And he said, "Keep your head, looking in that creek because it was right beside our road going into our farm."
He just wanted you to find it.
Yeah, he just wanted me to find it, and sure enough, there was a white belly sitting there. We get out of the truck. I was like, "I think it's a buck," and he said, "Well, what was it last night when you shot it?" I said, "A doe." He's like, "Well, that's probably what it is." I was like, "Yeah, you're probably right."
That water over there.
Yeah, gruesome antlers, but I was just as excited as somebody killing a 170-inch deer at 7 years old, and ever since then, it's what I've loved. So, what about you, Drew?
Probably one of my biggest memories was my first deer with a bow when I was 13. And it's funny, I used to I don't know, me and my brother both used to just about hunt plumb goofy. I mean, we were setting on four-wheelers or something with compound bows, just stupid. Like, why even try? But anyways, I was by myself, and I was sitting in a standing cornfield. There was a little clear cut in it, and I was sitting in a standing cornfield in a lawn chair with my bow, and I had a little clearing in front of me, and it got just about sunset, and I was like, man, I ain't seen a deer. I was like, I'm gonna get up and walk around. This is a crazy story. So I go.
You mean sundown? Oh wait, my bad. I thought you said sunrise.
No,
On the
sunset. About sunset. So anyways, I walk and I check this field. It's just like a pasture field. And I look up in it. I don't see nothing. And I turn around and go across the creek and there's another one. And I look in it. I don't see nothing over there. Maybe there was a doe or two in that one. And when I turned back around to that first field I checked, some does come out of the woods. This was October 25th. I remember the date. Some does come out of the woods and there's a little buck chasing them or whatever, and then I see a big deer come out, and I was 13, dude. I never will forget looking through the binos at this deer, and I thought it was a state record. I mean, it was a nice little buck, but I thought that thing, like, and it was one of those, it had like 11.5-inch G2s, and its G3s were just barely shorter, so it's one of those deer that just look huge from the side.
Yeah.
And I was watching that thing through the binoculars, and he was going across to that cornfield that I came from. I was like, I just can't wait to get home and tell this story that I seen this big deer. And anyways, that little buck and those does jumped the fence and go into the corn. And it was getting dark, and I kind of, like, they was 250 yards away, so it had got to the point where I couldn't see that far. And I was just sitting there. I was sitting on my knees in, like, grass about this tall. And I'm just sitting there with my bow. I had an arrow nock. And I look up, and that freaking buck had split from the other deer for some reason and just walks right down the fence road, and he's standing at like 30 yards, and it was low light. I could barely see his rack. I'm like, that's that buck. So I draw back, and I ain't making this up. I get full draw on this deer, and I'm in these weeds, and my arrow falls off my string. The knot falls off the string, and my broadhead like goes up in my sights. So I gotta let my bow down and re-knock my arrow, and I swear I feel like I was so little and in that tall grass, that buck was just like looking at me.
Has no idea what it
At like
is.
30 yards. And I didn't have a rangefinder or nothing, so I had to guess the range. And I re-knock it and redraw back, and I'm sitting on my knees. And he was pretty much facing me. He was quartering two just a little bit, and I put it like right above his brisket and shoot. And I thought I heard it hit him, and I mean, I know I was young, probably had a little imagination, so I was like, my family don't feel like they would believe me, but he runs like 60 yards. And I see him go down like 2 times, and then I just lose sight of him. So I was like, I killed that deer. And we had walkie-talkies. I get on the walkie-talkies. Mom still remembers it. I was like, big buck down. I'm 13 years old.
Yeah, I remember it too.
So anyways, we go get the whole family, and we go down there, and couldn't find nothing. I'm like, this is where I shot it, and there's no blood. I'm starting to get discouraged. I'm like, maybe I missed the stupid thing. And anyways, we're shining the spotlight, and I think it was my mom or something. She's like, go back, go back. And I shine the spotlight, and you can just see a rack sticking up in the field. Man, I ran to that thing wide open. Got over there, and it was like, I think it was about 125-inch 8-point with a little kicker on his G2. I was proud of that one.
That's a wild story.
It is a wild story. I mean, half y'all probably think I'm just making it up. What kind of 13-year-old kills a Pope young from the ground? But I did. And then after that, I proceeded to miss like 10 does with my bow. About every year I'd miss a doe.
Beginner's luck.
Yeah, it was beginner's luck. But I hunted a bunch. I mean,
What about you, Troy?
I'm gonna say elk hunting in eastern Kentucky, probably.
we all want to go elk hunting.
I've always put in for the elk draw. And I drew in 2012 for a cow firearm, and got lucky and killed one. And then 2016 I got drawn for an archery bull, and I had a 5x5. He wasn't very big. At about 15 yards, I was full draw on him, but decided not to. Looking back at it now, I probably should have took
Probably
it
should have.
because we didn't see a single elk
Oh,
the rest
yeah,
of the
that's
trip.
rough.
But
Some walking over there.
fuck that elk.
Those pet
Well,
deer.
hey, get the gun. Better hope it's not a big buck or something.
What time we at, Blue?
A little over 50.
50. Y'all want to wrap this up?
Yeah, I think
Probably about that time.
probably gonna wrap this thing up. We thank y'all for sitting and watching and listening to our stories a little bit.
Thank you guys for letting me be on here.
Yeah.
Blue's the
Blue,
one that edits our videos, and
Yeah, I'm the one behind the camera most of the time.
Makes it all happen.
he's the reason why we're so great at what we do.
And I'm just curious as to why I'm the one that's killed a deer so far.
I mean, beginner's luck. man.
like I said earlier, beginner's luck.
It happens.
But,
Just happens to be at the right place at the right time.
yeah.
Lucked out, man.
Like my neighbors.
Make sure y'all subscribe, like us on Instagram, TikTok. We're gonna try to get this on Spotify, I think.
Definitely.
Yeah, I assume we're gonna try it.
Stay tuned for Blue's buck. He got some awesome footage of his kill.
Yeah.
We'll be posting that for long.
Yeah.
Make sure to watch that teaser. It's really well put together.
Yeah, the link will be in the description.
Uh,
Anything else?
Yes, that's it.
see y'all next time.
Thanks
See
for
y'all.
watching.